Hello and welcome to the new video on Tableau LODs. Well, Tableau LODs is one of the topics that I have covered in the past and the link is present in description. But recently I was giving my live training. I was giving the information, or I was teaching about the LODs to the students and clarifying their doubts. And I started feeling like, there is a refresher needed, or there are more details needed with some more examples, so that larger community can basically learn from this and understand LODs better. So I was thinking about it and I thought, let's create a video on LODs. And first I will show the fixed LODs. So LODs, if you are very new to this topic, then LOD is level of detail. So the question comes that what is a level of detail? Well, that needs to be understood from a quick visualization. So for example, we have the sales data, and for this data set, link is in the description. There I will guide you how you can fetch the data, but let me get back to the topic and then I'll show you how you can get the data. Okay, so what do we have is a very simple visualization over here. As you can see, I'm bringing the category and sales. So this level of detail, we will say this information is at category level, right? And if I bring some more related value to this, then this information, that means sales, is at subcategory level, right? So even though you have category, but your sales is divided to each individual values of subcategory, right? Similarly, if you will see that if I bring any more dimension to it, for example, I bring, let's say, state information, then now this information is at the state level. We cannot say that this is at subcategory level or category level, because that level of information we then have to bring it. For example, we have the state sales 519, but if we want to understand compared to bookcases where it stands, that means there will be a value at the bookcase level. And if I show you, I go to analysis. Within analysis, there are always subtotals, right? Let me see, subcategory level and subtotal. Yes, now subtotal is present over here, right? So for bookcases, the value is 114,000, right? But so that is the information at bookcase level, that means subcategory value level. And this information, state information, is over here for these each individual row level. So that's basically the level of detail is. That means that is a level of data. Based on what level of data we have in the visualization, if we want to bring some a different or a relate something which is related a dimension, we want to bring that information. For example, if we don't have anything like this and we have this visualization and we want to bring the subcategory level value, then we can use the fixed LODs. So this is all about how we can bring the fixed LODs or use the fixed LODs. So we always start with a very basic example. So I hope by this time you are pretty clear. Why do you need the fixed LODs? When you need to bring the dimension value that is not part of the visualization. As I said, you have the state, but you want to compare with a different type of a visualization. That means country region or a region visualization, or let's say subcategory. Then it basically gives you that relevant value, that for a given subcategory for a particular state, what is the values or what is the sales that has happened. And we will see it in the example. So a lot about theory, but what we will going to do is we will going to bring the subcategory, and very first example is we will bring the sales, so that we are basically creating the same view. And with each view, I will give you two questions, right? After completing this, with every scenario, I will give you two questions to practice. That way you will be pretty clear as to how you need to do. And if you have any questions, you can write in comments. So we have subcategory, we have values. What I need to bring is I want to compare each value with the respective category value. So category is a higher dimension, below to category you have subcategory. So what I mean by that is, if I again bring it over here, you see that we have furniture, office supplies and technology. So in front of bookcases, chairs, furnitures, furnishing and tables, I need to bring the entire furniture value, which is 742,000. Remember this value. This will come over here as a column even though category is now out of it, right? So, and then I will show you some use case as well. Why do you need that? I mean, you can bring that information and I'll show you how, but why do you need that is also very important. So I'll create a calculated field, and the calculated field is category sales fixed LOD, and then we are going to write is fixed. And this is basically the syntax. I'm going pretty fast, but this is how the syntax is, that it starts with these curly brackets. Then what LOD we need. Right now I'm explaining you fixed. There is include and there is exclude, which I will take it into a respective videos. So we have fixed, and in the fixed, then what we will going to write is the dimension that we need. So in this case, category. So I will write category, and then I will write what value I need. That means measure sales. So I need a sum of sales. Okay. And now this calculation is valid. So what it is doing is, it is saying that irrespective of what is present over here, I will basically going to go at the category level and then give the sum of sales, right? So for each of these subcategories, it will see what category it is related to, right? Furniture, home office, or whatever those three categories are, and then produce the sum of sales. So I'll click OK, and I'll bring this onto a text, and I will. So if I change this category sales over here, so we have three category sales. For accessories 836, right? Even for machine and for phones 836, right? For appliances, we have appliances, art or binders, we have 719, but this is a number you remember, right? 742,000, right? So that's basically the value now which is coming in front of you, which is at the category level. And then you can validate also these three by just simply producing a view that where you need category, and you can bring the sales. So you have 742,000, you are getting 742,000. For office supplies, you have 719,000, you are getting 719,000. And for technology, you have 836,000, you have 836,000. That means accessories is related to technology, and that is what you are getting, right? 836,000. So you can see that we can bring the related dimension, but it is always going to see that, okay, subcategory is where this particular technology is related to, and I need to basically bring that value. Same with the state. If we have these states over here and we are calculating at subcategory level, then it will pick that accessory or whatever that category is, and then show the relevant value which is sold in that state, right? So that is something a pretty interesting concept. But again, my question was that why do we need this? Well, we need this for many reasons. One is, with the help of this, one can visually compare that how big or a small sale is compared to the overall value. That is just for a visual comparison. And this is not a best way. The best way is when we will convert this into this type of a visualization. So now you see we have the fixed LOD calculation, and then we have each individual value. And what we do is we make it a dual axis, right? And in this dual axis, what we do is we change the category sales fixed LOD into a bar chart, right? And sum of sales, let's change this to sales, let's change to gray. I think this will look better. No, I think blue is fine. Yeah, and I think I'll change this as well to better visualization. This is looking much better, not a very high contrast, right? And I'll expand this by dragging it down from this border. Okay. So now one thing I need is right click over here, synchronize access. So over here, you can clearly see that compared to total sales, you are almost like contributing to 20-25%. This is contributing very less. This is contributing very high. So when you need to create a visualization, an innovative visualization like this, where visually we want to understand that compared to my overall sales, where I am standing or where this particular category is standing, then you can use this visualization, right? So that is one of the things that you can do. Also, another thing that you can do is, if I come back into this visualization, that you can create a calculation. For example, you can create a calculation called difference from category CATG. And then what you can do is you can write the information. For example, you can write category sales, right? Or sum of category sales minus sum of sales. So what it does, it gives us the difference, right? So if we need that, we bring it over here and we get the difference, right? What is the 836 minus 167 is this. 719107, difference is this. Difference is this, right? So that is another level of new calculations that you can make. Similarly, you can calculate percentages and do whatever you need, division, multiplication, subtraction, percentage, whatever modulo, anything you want, you can basically do this, because now you have two values. And even though category dimension is not here, but you still have values. That is the benefit of the fixed LOD. So I hope by all this entire explanation, it is quite clear. Now I have two questions for you. And my two questions, which I will just put it over here so that I have it in this sheet, practice questions. And these are my two questions, which is for you. So the first question is, what is the sales of state compared to its respective region sales? So what do you have is, you have region, you have state, right? So what you need to produce is states and sales, and then you need to create a fixed LOD on the region and then produce the region sales over here so that you can do a similar type of comparison. Okay, so that is a question number one. The question number two is, which month got the highest sales in quarter? This is something which I have tried to give you the way in which you will get the question in interview, right? So this is the way you will going to get, not like this, but which month got the highest sales in quarter. That means you need a monthly sales, and then you need to fix the sales for each quarter and create that bar chart which I created, right? And that's the way you will going to produce the information. So remember, you will not going to get a very straightforward way technical question. You will going to get business question. Which month got the highest sales in quarter, right? And that's something you need to practice with fixed LOD. And in first question, the fixed LOD will be on region. In second question, the fixed LOD will be on quarter. Okay. All right, now let me move on to a second scenario question. And my second scenario question is, let me see if, yeah, this is my second scenario question. And this scenario is coming from the one of the Tableau examples for the fixed LOD, and pretty innovative example. So what they are trying to understand is basically the repeat orders. That means customers who have given one orders, customers who have given two orders, customers who have given three orders. And generally we are seeing that the highest bar, which is the count of 812 orders, is saying that 7 times these orders have been given by these customers, right? So what we are trying to basically see is the repeated behavior, the customers repeat order behavior, right? And that way we see that highest number of times the order has been repeated is like 17 times by a particular customer. Okay, so if you want to create a chart like this, it is not straightforward, and we have to we have two things. We have orders, which is in the order ID. That's where we will do the count. But the repeat order is at the customer level, where we have the customer name. Okay. So for this, the first thing is we need to create an x-axis, which is the count of repeated orders. So this is something at customer level, and then we have to plot the distinct count of order, which is nothing but count distinct order. So I will show you the LOD by creating it from scratch again, and it needs a small treatment as well. So this is order at customer level fixed. That's so that we know that in the brackets we will open fixed, and we need at customer level because we want to understand the repeat customer behavior of a repeat order behavior of a customer, and we will say count T order ID, and we should be good. Now if we have this and I have order ID, I will still not be able to produce this because I have selected this too. And let's say I create this. What it does is it creates this visualization based on the order ID, but what I needed is a repeated behavior, right? So this requires a small treatment from the from this customer, the fixed, what is that, order at customer level. We need to move this into a dimension. So now it is a dimension, right, which we will bring it onto a column. So if you see, it is now coming not like each value, but the bars, the x-axis values. If you remember, we created it, and then we need to bring the order ID over here, and we will say add all members, but we need to say that it is a measure which is count distinct, and then you get this visualization. So initially it will be little tricky. It requires a bit of a practice, but you will be able to get it. Okay. So we are creating this, first of all, this calculation is important. The second one is quite straightforward. We have to simply drag and count distinct, but customer level, we want to identify how many customers are having the repeat orders, and how many times, 5 times, 6 times, and what is the total number of orders. So that is the second scenario. And now for this, I have again 2 questions for you. All right, so again, practice questions, I'm writing in front of you, very similar scenario, so that I'm not making it very complex for you. Now earlier we had the customer level, now at city level we have to identify how many repeat orders we made. Similarly, we have to identify at product name level. Earlier the customer name level we had, now we will have the product name level, right? So we'll click OK and see what output you get, right? So that's pretty interesting for you to go ahead and try it out. All right, so let's move on to my third and final example, and then I will show you the 2 scenario as well. So I'll move over here. So what I am basically showing you over here is that a scenario where we want to let me see over here in sheet. Yes, this is my scenario where I'm showing you my subcategories, the sales, and average first sales at customer level, right? So accessories has been sold to many customers, right? So what was the first sales value of those customers, and then producing an average of it. That's a complex calculation, but because think about this, you may have a company may have been selling the particular product for so many years. For each date you have the order, right, for various customer, and you have hundreds of customers. So it is basically going to each customer, finding the first sales, and then giving you the average of the sales, average first sales at customer level, right? So if we have such complex requirement where somebody wants to understand that, compare the company average sales, right, company's average sales with what is the first sales that has happened by the customer, that means customer level. That's usually the business will say. first sales by the customer. So in that case, we need to create the again the LOD that will going to help us produce this. So I will just reproduce this scenario for you. So it is quite straightforward. We will going to take the subcategory and we will going to take the sales, right? And then we will going to create an LOD. First sales at customer level, and I will call it F dot. This is just to indicate this is a fixed calculation, and it has a little, like I said, it is complex, right? And you will see the complexity in a minute. So first thing first is we need to identify the first date at customer level. So it is fixed customer name because we want the first purchase of the customer, and first purchase of the customer is when the first purchase order is coming based on the order date. So what we are saying is, hey, go ahead and find out the first order date of a customer. This is what it means. Minimum means the first one, or the minimum, whatever the minimum value is, and the minimum value will be the first one. And then we have to use a condition if order date is equals to this date, right? If order date is first date, then we want sales and. Got it? So we are first saying that we need the first date of a customer when they made the order, because this is order date, right? And then we are comparing it with these order dates, which is a normal field, nothing but over here, which is coming to us. If they both are same, then only produce the sales. So what it is doing, it is producing a virtual table where all of the sales values are present for the first order of the customer. Click apply. Okay. And then you have it this, you bring it over here and then submit. It is doing a sum. So what we need to do is we need to calculate the average for this and average for this. So at company level, the average sales is this. At the customer first order level, this is the sales. So over here you can see this is quite close, but then you have I'm just trying to identify 34, but 48, that means customers are making first purchase high, may not be the second purchase, right? So similar type of a scenarios, 265 to 303, where overall purchase is average sales is less, but the first purchase looks like it's quite high. So something which it reveals as a pattern that customer may be purchasing first time very high, but they are not having a lot of sales as a repeat customer. Maybe the scenario because it requires more digging, but overall average sales is this for your company, and customers first purchase average is this. So that is something very interesting scenario which I've thought will be useful for you, right? And you can understand in different scenarios, the 3 different scenarios in which it can be used. Now let me give you 2 examples or 2 questions to practice here. Okay, so for that, again, I will write practice questions. And question is, what is the average sales of region compared to the average sales of state? The second question is, what is the average sales of segment compared to the average sales of category? So you have segment over here and you have category over here. Average sales of region and state. Region is here and state is here. Click OK. So remember, this is the question that you need to practice. And after practicing this, I hope you will get a very good idea, and you will be able to understand when do you need to use the fixed as an LOD to produce the visualization. With that, I will meet you in the next video with the include LOD and show you some similar and interesting examples. Till then, thank you so much for watching, and let me know what do you think about this video. Bye.